All right, here we are. Talon Tools, want to tell everybody thank you again. We've seen a ton of support in the community across the world. We've sold every state in the United States. We've sold in every province in Canada. We've sold in 20 other countries. People are using the tool. We love it. We appreciate you. And what we want to do is find a way to give back. We've got Julio here.
Hi, how are you guys?
And Julio is going to help us build this next build we're going to do. We want to try to find a way to give back, and veterans have been a big part of my life, my family's life. We wanted to give a tiny home to a veteran. So we targeted a veteran, and we're going to go ahead and start building this thing. The problem he had mold in his house. He had a bunch of stuff. He bought a house. It ended up being a tough deal for him and his wife. And we wanted to show how much we appreciate what he's done for us to keep us safe. We're a Made in America company, made in the USA. He allowed that, the veterans allowed that. We want to tell you thank you. We want to tell all the veterans thank you. We hope this is a project that we get to do for a while, that we get to do, you know, every 6 months, every 5 months, every 3 months. But this is our first one. So everybody like and support us, and we'll work from there. Thank you all again. Question about our nail gun. This is an actual nail gun. It's not a finished nailer. So what we're doing here, getting prepped up. We got to go through the steps, and we're going to do this on the YouTube. We're going to show some short snips and everything of us building the tiny home for the veteran. But we want to document this out. We want to set each individual piece. So our first piece is just laying out the floor, the decking, and we're going to try to show you every piece of the way. So the guys that want to follow, build their own tiny home, want to build a shed, you want to build a wall in your house, we're gonna show you how to do it with our tool. All right, so here we are talking about the Stud Master again. We're building our first tiny home for a veteran in need. And what we want to do is lay this deck out. We wanted to show you there are multiple ways to lay it out. Obviously, if you've been on our webpage, there are a ton of people arguing one way or the other is better or worse, right? This is the way we're gonna lay this one out, and we're gonna show you real quick. We're gonna go 16 on center from the end of our board. So what you got is you got 3/4 is the middle. That's 3/4 of the length is right here in the middle of the tool. We're gonna nail our second board first. We nail our second board, then we're gonna go to 16 on center. So that's your 15 1/4 that everybody, or a lot of people have argued, right? And we can also do it from 16 and just leave it, but this is the way we're gonna build this house. All right, so we've got our first board in here, right? It's a little different than what we've done in the past. All of us have built flooring a little different. All right, so Julio's got his first board in. We've all built houses, we've all decked floors, we've all done this, right? Or some of us out there haven't. From the day that we all started, we started with our first board. With the Stud Master, we do it a little different. We start with our second board, then we pull the tool off, and we go to our second, third. Now we come back and we just line up to the end. So what we've got here, we got our first board nailed, which is our second. Julio's gonna go ahead and nail our rim joist here. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna move to our next setup. This setup, and what I wanted to show here is just how sturdy the setup is. If you want to move this back and forth, everybody always asks, how tight is it? Julio, can you move that back and forth? Is it tight or is it moving?
Tight.
It's tight. So we'll go ahead and nail that one. You can see the end of it. We know if we're flush. Take that one off. First two set. And what we're gonna do, people have asked for 30 foot, 40 foot. We're gonna build a 32-foot wall here. We're gonna have windows, we're gonna have doors, we're gonna have everything. We got our first 3 boards set. Julio, go ahead and pull that off. And what we'll do is we'll just measure it as we go. So we're gonna go ahead and do the next board. You see the line up there. And now you can use the tool 2 different ways. You can have it over your inboard, or you can have it just on your trusses. Right now, Julio's using it just on the trusses. Again, it doesn't matter. No matter what, you can see the end. We're laying the deck out here just for quality control purposes, just to look at it, just to show y'all how the tool fits, how the plywood fits, we can use a tape measure, we can use whatever. I thought for visual purposes this would help, okay? All right, so what we're showing here, we've got Julio's laid out our first floor joist, okay? So we've got a joist here, 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 and here. Now, what that should show you is if we're gonna build the floor, we're gonna line it up, and what happens is we're flush on this end, so we're flush here, we're flush on this side, and then what we're gonna have is we have enough to nail the next piece of plywood on. So that's how you build it. We're just showing the setup first, showing how it looks from where we've nailed it, so y'all can get an idea of how it is. Now, when you build your wall is gonna set flush on top of this piece of plywood. We got Sam, we're showing the tiny home that we're building for the veteran here. We're building our first piece again. And again, we're starting with our second joist as opposed to our first. So Sam's gonna go ahead and nail our second joist. All right. Then what we do is we pull the tool and we're gonna line it up right here on the end, flush. We've got our first joist nailed. Sam's gonna go ahead and nail our second one, which is the first one in line. And we're gonna move to the very next tool setup. The very next setup, lined up, nail. Now we're a 16 on center, just like we were before. Go ahead, Sam. All right, so we've got our first two nailed in already, 15 1/4. Second one, the nice thing about the tool here, you don't have to have it over the end joist if you don't want it, just so you can see what you're doing here. So we need to raise it up, go ahead and nail it. We go to the next one. Same thing, we don't have to have it there.